Alright guys, today is April 28th. This is my second video, so it's a little bit after 9. Um, Another part of my contract for senior project is that I have to know basic food safety, just to make sure that anything I cook is safe for people to consume. The most basic stuff is that you can't cross-contaminate things, so if you use a knife to cut chicken that you have not cooked, you cannot use that knife on anything else like pickles or anything else that you want to cut for your dish, because you need to wash it off so that you don't get any salmonella on your stuff. Don't cross contaminate raw meat with anything else. Another thing is that if you are cooking something that requires a certain temperature, like if you're cooking or broiling or anything, sauteing is not so much, but if you're cooking something, there are basic temperatures that you need to get your food to be before it's safe to consume. Generally, if you're reheating anything, 165 Fahrenheit is what you need to get it up to. If you want to cook it a little bit more, you can do that, but 165 is basic what you have to get, the lowest you can go. And if it's a raw meat that you haven't cooked, it really depends on what kind of meat it is. If you're cooking a steak, depending on how you want it cooked, you can go as low as 145, and that's pretty rare. But and then if you're like cooking chicken, 165 still. 165 is what I use for just a rule of thumb, because I don't want anything to get undercooked. I don't want anything to be dangerous, so I just always use 165, at least 165. And once you cook something, if you need to save it to reheat later, there are certain time limits that you have to get it down to a certain temperature. So you have 2 hours to get something down to 75 degrees Fahrenheit from 165 if you're going to store it to keep it and then reheat it later. You just need to get it down to that temperature. Otherwise, something could spoil. You could get bacteria in there. And an example of that is when I was helping Chef cook the chili for the food truck. After we finished cooking it all the way to 165, we took it and we put it in a bath of ice and we stirred it and we kept checking it to make sure that it got down to 75 degrees within 2 hours. And then we could put it away. But you have to make sure that you don't spend longer than that trying to get it cold, otherwise your food could go bad. That's dangerous. So that's basically it for food safety. And if you're talking about prep work, then you need to like make sure all your surfaces are clean, basic knowledge. But for the most part, temperature and cross contamination are the biggest parts of making sure your food is safe to consume.